Good evening, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, beautiful heart. Good evening, light seeker, peace lovers, the students on the path of meditation. Good evening. I am deeply happy to meet you again in this evening. First of all, thank you for the thousands of friends who joined our guided meditation this morning and this noon, 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. As I keep sharing from time to time, without ocean, the fishermen will lose their own job. Without the land, the farmers will lose their job. In the same way, without well-devoted students like you, all holy teacher will lose the opportunity to purify the soul. For that reason, it is not only you who say thank you. I myself also want to say thank you to all of you. In Facebook especially, today there is a touching comment from a beautiful lady from Bali. She explicitly wrote in my Facebook account a message like this: Guruji, I do not understand even a single word of English. I do not understand even a single word of English. But strangely, I am deeply interested in watching your Facebook live. In some part of the journey watching your Facebook live, even the tears weep. That is one of the important characteristics of well-devoted student. Even though she does not understand the language, the words that I speak, she deeply understands the language behind what I speak. To be frank to all of you, human language is very superficial. It is very superficial. There is language which is deeper than just the language that comes out from the mouth. That is our daily life. That is our good example. Mahatma Gandhi is one of a beautiful example in this case. Mahatma Gandhi himself spoke very seldom. He spoke very seldom, but his own role model, his own beautiful example, speak louder than any kind of words that Mahatma Gandhi spoke in the past. The same thing also happened to some of well-devoted students here in Spiritual Family of Compassion. Some do not understand any word of English, but keep watching and keep devoting. I see using my spiritual eyes, some of Spiritual Family of Compassion keep doing Namaskara in the moment when I guide meditation. It is good, it is good. Especially because not in the all night there is a bright star. Not in all cycle of the time there is a bright teaching here on earth. For that reason, understanding the word is number 2. But practicing the teaching, that is number 1. One of a gentleman in Jakarta wrote a beautiful message in Facebook. Is it possible to put the text in Bahasa Indonesia in Facebook Live or any social media live? It is possible, but today we're still in the early stage of mastering the technology of social media, in the early stage. But to the gentleman from Jakarta who want to understand the Indonesian meaning of my presentation, The summary of this presentation have been written using Bahasa Indonesia, and you can read it now. You can read it in belkedamaian.org. The summary of today's topic or previous topic is the same. It was written clearly in Bahasa Indonesia in belkedamaian.org. Just in the case you do not understand the meaning of English, but you eager want to know what is exactly the meaning that I am delivering here. The message have been summarized into a short article in Bahasa Indonesia in the blog belkedamaian.org. By the time we are waiting for thousands of spiritual friends who are in the process of joining us, it is always good to refresh our previous lesson that we learned together. A lot of lesson that I shared before, but today I will share to you the spiritual journey in deep meditation. Before being touched by deep meditation, our mind usually like this. There is light, there is darkness, there is right, there is wrong. There is sad, there is glad, sorrow, joy, pain, pleasure. The most important reason why most of the people have suffering mind because they neglect the dark part of their mind, but they attach to the white part. That is a very chaotic. Illness, from small pain until chronic illness like cancer, have a very close relationship with samsaric mind like this. You prefer the good, but you don't like the bad. You attach to the true, but you do not want the false. You like the day, but you hate the night. That is suffering mind. That's why if you keep watching the TV, especially whenever there is debate among politicians, not only in certain country but almost in all country. Last time there is debate between two candidates of US president, the same thing happened. All people claim that they are white. No one want to be called as dark. All people claim that they are right and pointing out the others as wrong. That is the debate. You know what happened in the politics much better than me. But to be frank, in the old path of meditation, it is called samsaric mind, duality. In the philosophy, it is called the duality. It is the root of countless suffering. Energy draining from human mind especially happen mostly because there is a duality like this. It is dangerous. The earlier you understand this idea, the better. At the beginning, before being touched by deep meditation, all human mind are chaotic because of the duality like this. The duality. I spent years of my time in the school and university. The last time I went into one of big university in England and attended top management course in Fontainebleau, France. In most debate in university in general, it is the debate between darkness and light. Very few of the scientists who sincerely accept that the truth can happen also in someone else's mind. Very few. Most of the scientists claim that the truth only happen in their own mind. At the same time, if there is someone who disagree against them, they will put the others in the possessions of darkness. Once again, in the old path of meditation, it is called samsaric mind, the very important source why there is a lot of energy drain from the critical and negative mind. That is the beginning of the journey. As soon as you practice meditation for long time enough, especially by keep witnessing, accepting, flowing and smiling, silence and smile, rest, one day you will be able to see that both are white. There is no such thing as darkness. You know, darkness is not the enemy of light. Darkness also has the seed of light. Darkness is not here to attack the light. Darkness is here to brighten the light. If there is no mud, there will be no lotus flower. If there is no night, there will be no beautiful day. See? The evolutions of mind come from the duality of dark and light, into white. What I mean by white, everything is the dancings of the same perfection. Mud in one time will become a beautiful lotus in another time. Those who hate us in certain time, they can become our beautiful friend in another time. Those people who keep blaming, one day they will praise you. It is a matter of time. If you deeply meditate, you will grow from the duality of darkness and light into the unity between the two. It is a long process of being a witness. Remember, any kind of thought, any kind of emotion, any kind of experience, sad, glad, pleasure, pain, they are all like clouds. You are the witnessing sky. The longer you practice yourself as the witnessing sky, the closer you are to this level of beyond duality. This is no longer a samsaric mind. This mind is called beautiful mind. When I was still young, there is a beautiful movie. The title is Beautiful Mind, telling the story about well-known physicist. His name is John Nash, who got schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is crazy because of spending too much time in the duality. You know what happened then? John Nash was healed by his own wife because his wife kept serving him to transform his mind from the duality into beautiful mind or beauty. Perfection is not the same as ignorance. As the natural natures of water which is wet, as the natural natures of flower which is beautiful, the natural natures of mandala, perfection, they are naturally full of compassion. So that's why in the old traditions, in the old wisdom of Eastern philosophy, wisdom and compassion cannot be separated. It is like water and wet cannot be separated. Flower and beautiful cannot be separated. Wisdom, silence, perfection, it is the passive aspect of enlightenment. Compassion is the active aspect of enlightenment. It is like two sides of the same coin. You cannot separate it. The passive aspect of enlightenment is silence, wisdom, mandala. But the active aspect of enlightenment is compassion. like a pair of wings of the same eagle. The left wing is wisdom. The left wing is wisdom. Wisdom, perfection, silence. The right wing is compassion. We cannot separate the two because both the two representing the same pair of the same birds. That is the soul journey in the long path of meditation. Begin with the samsaric mind of duality, grow into the beautiful mind of white, light. Darkness is not here to attack the light, but darkness is here to brighten the light. If you are blessed, one day you will come to the stage of enlightenment. The third picture, it is the symbol of perfection, mandala. Now we are approaching 10 minutes past 6 o'clock Bali time. Thanks God, thousands of spiritual friends are beginning to join us. We still have another 8 minutes to approach 18 minutes past 6 o'clock p.m. We still have 8 minutes. Well, we spent beautiful time together, 27 days at the beginning of coronavirus crisis, 27 days, night and day. I keep serving you night and day without any stop, morning until evening. We keep praying in the evening, we keep meditating in the day, 27 days. Thanks God, the spiritual family of compassion was able to publish a beautiful book. All those teaching 27 days have been summarized into one small beautiful book. It has been shared widely, especially in the Bali Island. It has been shared in the internet. You can read our holy book in Amazon for free. During those 27 days, we meditate in the day, we pray together at night. But I still remember one of the important lessons that we learned at that time. We are now experiencing a global metamorphosis, like a cocoon in the process of being butterfly. When the cocoon going out in the process of being butterfly, the cocoon experiencing a very deep pain. The same thing happened with the community of human beings nowadays. We now experiencing a deep pain. The economic growth slowed down everywhere. The unemployment rate is the highest along the human history. Billions of people lost their job. That is what I mean by a global metamorphosis. But keep in the heart, not all cocoon able to be a beautiful butterfly. Not all soul will bloom after this crisis. To make sure that you will become one of the blooming soul, one of the beautiful butterfly that will appear after this long crisis of pandemic, make sure to grow inside, to do what I said at that time as the inner pilgrimage. While most people keep seeking the light outside, what I mean by the inner pilgrimage is learn to rediscover the light inside. What is the light inside? Grow from the duality which is very chaotic, full of suffering, into the wisdom which is living behind the dualistic mind and chaotic mind. Another explanations about the inner pilgrimage at that time. Grow from loneliness into self-independence. Remember, loneliness is not the absence of friends. Loneliness is the absence of self-acceptance. As soon as you have deep self-acceptance, loneliness will say goodbye to all of you. Let me repeat once again, this is very important. Loneliness is the absence of friends. Loneliness is the absence of self-acceptance. As soon as you have perfect self-acceptance, you will be able to say goodbye to any kind of loneliness. That is another lesson of inner pilgrimage. Grow from loneliness into self-independence. Not only being independent materially, but also being independent spiritually. That's why I keep persuading you, smile. Smile, beautiful soul. Smile is a strong omen that you are no longer a victim. You are now a master to your life. That is another dimension of inner pilgrimage. Grow from loneliness to self-independence. Move from the absence of friends into self-acceptance. Especially because self-acceptance is like a beautiful inner sunrise. As soon as you perfectly accept yourself, a beautiful sun rises within. The most important characteristic is eat well, sleep well. So that's why one day, one of the Western journalists asked His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Your Holiness, are you happy? No doubt, no doubt. His Holiness answered, what is your definitions about happiness? With a beautiful smile, His Holiness Dalai Lama answered, eat well, sleep well. At that time, I was still very young. I thought it was too simple. But as I grew older and experiencing a lot of spiritual experience, His Holiness is totally true. If you have eat well, if you can eat well and sleep well, that is the opening gate to find the inner light. Eat well, sleep well. Coincidentally, if you read some of health journal like Harvard Medical School, one of the most important requirements to be healthy in our time is sleep. Sleep. So that's why I keep maintaining the quality of my sleep, because sleep is the most important requirement of health in our time. His Holiness Dalai Lama has said this message more than 20 years ago, far before the Western medical doctor concluding the most important requirement of health in our time is sleep. Now it is already 18 o'clock after 6 p.m. Bali time. Now we are going to meditate, short meditation, just to make sure your mind and heart is clear and clean. After your mind and heart is clear and clean, by then I will deliver to you the new message of today: bad weather makes good timber. The challenging times are not here to weaken your soul journey, but to strengthen your soul journey. Now we are going to meditate around 5 until 10 minutes. My Holy Guru, wherever you are, the living Guru, the Holy Scripture Guru, symbolical Guru, the secret Guru, kindly allow me to be your own humble servant. Remember, cross your leg, make your back and head straight but relax. Your wings natural, the positions of your hands totally up to you. As long as you are natural and relaxed, open your eyes a little bit. The rest, kindly allow me to be your own humble servant. Now we are going to meditate. In the more advanced level, to meditate is to take a perfect rest. As the essence of flower is honey, the innermost essence of meditation is to take a perfect rest. Why? Because everything that happens in this realm is the dancings of the same perfection. Rest, beautiful soul. Rest the mind from any kind of inner critic, from any kind of inner conflict, like sad, glad, sorrow, joy, pain, pleasure. Rest. And the meditative approach of resting the mind is filling the gap between two breaths, between out breath and in breath, between in breath and out breath. There is a gap less than 1 second. No need to hold the breath, no need to shorten the breath, no need to prolong the breath. Simply feel the gap between two breaths. The great poet Rumi said once upon a time, beyond right and wrong, beyond true and false, beyond any words, there is perfect silence. We all will meet there together. That is called wisdom. That is called silence. Sometimes it is called enlightenment. And enlightenment is not something in the long distance in the future. Enlightenment is available here in the present. You can approach that stage of enlightenment by keep filling the gap between two breaths. Mind can jump into 1,000 directions, but 1,001 times bring the mind back to the gap between two breaths without any guilty feeling. Here in Ashram Avalokiteswara in the high mountain northern part of Bali, we hear the voice of motorcycle in the long distance. Use any kind of voice that happen in your place as holy bell to return back to the gap between two breaths. Any voice from singing birds, car alarm, the karaoke of the neighbor, use all sound as holy bell to return back to the gap between two breaths. In some parts of spiritual journey, words cannot help much. Only practice that can help you. In the same way, the secret of deep peace behind the gap between two breaths can only be understood if you keep practicing from one day to another day, from 1 year to another year. Practice, that is the answer. It cannot be replaced by listening to the Holy Guru. It cannot be replaced by reading the holy books. The practice is the kind of knowledge that you can directly experience. It cannot be replaced. For that reason, feel the gap between two breaths. As I keep sharing to all of you, the dolphin beautified the ocean by being the dolphin. Butterfly beautified the garden by being butterfly. You are beautifying Mother Earth by being yourself as you are. That is exactly what I mean by resting the mind. Feel the gap between two breaths. One of the holy scripture that I keep quoting from one guided meditation to another guided meditation come from the head of Mother Earth, the land of snow, Tibet, where there is Mount Kailash. Dry season does not reduce the amount of water. Raining season does not increase the amount of water in this universe. In the same way, sad, glad, true, false, pain, pleasure, joy, sorrow, they do not decrease anything, they do not increase anything. That's why I keep persuading you, take a perfect rest. Put it simply, resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. Remember, you are not the wave. You are the surfer. You are not the wave of right, wrong, true, false, sad, glad. You are no longer those waves. You are now the surfer. And the board of the surfer is being the witness, simply by filling the gap between two breaths. And your most beautiful friend in this case is beautiful smile. Smile is a strong sign that you are no longer dictated by dualistic mind. You are now above any dualistic mind. You are no longer a victim. You are now a master to your own life. Smile, beautiful souls, smile. When you are ready to open your eyes, remember to whisper the beautiful mantra of Aham Prema, meaning, I am love, who is here to share love. Aham Prema, and Aham Prema. Thank you, beautiful friend, beautiful heart, beautiful soul. light seeker, peace lover, the students on the path of meditation. Now I am going to share to you the ideas of bad weather makes good timber, meaning the challenges of our time do not weaken your soul journey. It can strengthen your soul journey as long as you know the way, of course. As the opening message, excuse me. As the opening message, there is no huge tree which never pass any storms. In the same way, there is no strong and beautiful soul who never pass the dark nights of the soul. Some of you who learn psychology like me, especially from the famous psychologist Carl Jung, Carl Jung explicitly said many times, all holy souls from the past experiencing the dark nights of the soul. The dark nights of the soul is like bad weather. It is like a long pandemic crisis that we now experiencing. I myself also experienced the dark nights of the soul more than 5 years. Suffering did not come from long distance people, but come from a very close person, especially the person we deeply love. That is what Carl Jung called as the dark nights of the soul. Let me share to you some of the great souls in our time. The great poet Jalaluddin Rumi, he is very famous. Right after he lost his own teacher, Rumi was deeply sad at the beginning because he lost his holy teacher. He spent years of Rumi's life in deep sadness because of losing his own teacher. It is unclear whether Rumi's teacher passed away or Rumi's teacher simply disappeared into the forest. It is unclear. But one thing for sure, Jalaluddin Rumi at the beginning of his spiritual journey deeply sad because of losing his holy guru. The second bright soul in our time is Khalil Gibran, the author of the famous book, The Prophet. Some of you who learn deep spirituality, The Prophet is one of the important books of our time. There are countless of beautiful messages, beautiful light available in the beautiful book of The Prophet, written by Khalil Gibran. For your own information, Khalil Gibran also wrote The Prophet, in the moment of deep sadness, in the moment of deep sorrow. It was unclear for me, but Khalil Gibran said in one of the interview, he experienced a kind of broken heart. What he meant by broken heart, it is unclear. But to me, it is also long, deep sadness. That is the second example. Some of you who spend years of your time learning in business school like me, I attended business school at the beginning of 80 until the beginning of 90. At the beginning of 80 in Indonesia, at the beginning of 90 it was in England and France. Some of you who learn business and management in 80 and 90s, you know one of the great hero of business society at that time is Lee Iacocca. Lee Iacocca is the former chairman of Ford company at that time. Suddenly, for the reason that he did not understand, he was fired. Simply fired for the reason that he did not understand. Suddenly, he moved from the office of CEO into a small garage. You know, you can imagine how deep the sadness of Lee Iacocca was. But later on, Lee Iacocca became one of the great heroes of business society at that time, because he built from the beginning the huge corporation Chrysler. The same thing also happened to one of the famous spiritual teachers in our time, Neale Donald Walsch. Neale Donald Walsch is very famous with his book Conversation with God. I watched the movie about the story of Neale Donald Walsch. At the beginning, Neale Donald Walsch was deeply suffered. He did not only have no money for paying the bill, he did not have even the money to buy any food. So that's why he spent some of his time collecting food from one garbage can to another garbage can. You can imagine how deep the suffering is. In short, all lotus flower bloom in the dirty mud. All blooming flower blooming in the midst of hot sunshine. Meaning all the great souls of our time, their soul blooming in the middle of challenging time, like the challenging time that we now have in the long crisis of pandemic. Long crisis is like hot sunshine, very hot sunshine. While certain grass dry because of the hot sunshine, almost all flower beautifully bloom because of hot sunshine. Now it is your own choice whether you are going to become a dry grass or become a blooming flower. And today's message about bad weather makes good timber. It is a message to help you to bloom like beautiful flower. In short, do not let the outer darkness giving birth to the inner darkness. Let the outer darkness giving birth to the inner light. There are 2 chapters that I'm going to deliver this evening to all of you, beautiful heart, beautiful soul, beautiful friends, light seeker, peace lover, students on the path of meditation. There are 3 chapters. First chapter is beautiful inner angel. Whenever you meet no angel outside, learn to meet the angel inside. That is the first chapter. The second chapter is taking good care of our inner orphan. To a certain degree, we all have inner orphan inside us. The part of ourselves that we tend to neglect. The dark parts of ourselves we tend to bury it inside. The part of ourselves that we keep hiding from someone else. It can be sexual harassment in the past. It can be the dark story of the family. It can be failure in the past. The anthropologists call it the otherness. The otherness means the part of ourselves that we call the other. It's not yourself. That is what I call as the inner orphan. It is hard to imagine there will be beautiful lights shining from within if you do not take good care of your inner orphan. The part of yourself which tend to be neglected all the time. That is the second chapter. The third chapter is learning to use the second brain, because the challenge of our time is very challenging. It is not enough to use the left brain only. It is not enough to use the brain in the head only. There is the second brain, which is located right here. That is the third chapter. Now we are entering the first chapter, the beautiful inner angel. Very few of the people who are able to see angel outside, very few. But all of us can meet the angel inside. There are many angels inside. But one of the important angel that I'm going to introduce to you in this evening is flowing mind and smiling heart. The combination between flowing mind and smiling heart, that is what I call as beautiful inner angel this evening. To make the ideas more explicit, in our cycle of the time, the most dangerous Satan is the combination between two hawks. The combination between two hawks. The first hoax is the fake news outside. You know much better than me when it comes to the fake news outside. I do not want to elaborate. Combination between fake news outside and the fake news inside. What I mean by the fake news inside is fear, doubt, panic. The combination between hawks outside, hawks inside, which is fear, doubt, fear and doubt, panic. The combination between two hawks, that is the most dangerous Satan of our time. It can bring you into a very dangerous place far before you die. For that reason, in order to avoid the most dangerous Satan of our time, which is the combination between outer hawks and inner hawks, now learn to approach the beautiful inner angel, which is flowing mind and smiling heart. The most important reason why I persuade you to meet your inner angel, flowing mind and smiling heart, because the combination between outer hawks and inner hawks can easily make our energy draining, particularly energy draining that come out from the mind. Some of you experience it personally. If you keep watching bad news especially, you will be easily get tired. You could not sleep, you could not work. Some of you even get sick because of keep watching the bad news outside. That is what I mean by the most dangerous Satan in our time. The combination between the hawks outside and the hawk inside. And one of beautiful medicines that I'm suggesting to you this evening, in order to stop all the energy draining that come out from your mind, learn to meet the inner angel, which is flowing mind and blooming heart. To make the ideas more practical, learn to move from hard rock logic into water logic. Look at the suffering soul in our time. The suffering soul. Some of them are painful, some of them having chronic illness, some of them even jail because of many reasons that I do not want to elaborate. Almost all of the suffering soul have a hard rock logic. Similar to rock, their logic is I am right, you are wrong. My religion true, your religion is untrue. My nation is greater than the other nation. That is hard rock logic. As rock, when meet each others, they are conflicting each others. The same thing happened to the hard rock logic mind. They are very hard inside. If you want to stop the coming of the most dangerous Satan in our time, learn to grow from hard rock logic into water logic. What I mean by water logic, water is very flexible. Lao Tzu is true in this case. Lao Tzu from the great China. Water can pass through all obstacles in the river because water is very flexible. No matter how hard the stone is, there is tool which can destroy the stone. But no matter how advanced the tool is, the tool cannot destroy the water. For that reason, learn to grow from hard rock logic into water logic. The symbol that I often use when explaining water logic, all of us like three blind men who meet the same elephant. Imagine there are three blind men who hold the different parts of elephant. The blind man who hold the trunk, he will conclude, oh, this is snake. The blind man who hold the leg, he will conclude, oh, this is a tree. The blind man who hold the body of elephant will come into the conclusion, this is the wall. The hard rock logic will ask the question, which one is true? That is hard rock logic. If your question is which one is true, then the answer will be wrong. The questions of water logic is not which one is true. The question of water logic is to combine between the three. What kind of animals in certain part is like snake, in certain part is like the tree, and another part is like the wall. If you combine the three, then there is the possibility you will come to the definite answers of elephant. That is what I mean by water logic. Some of you who learn helicopter view, imagine helicopter. When helicopter ready to fly, they fly like this. Look at the problem from the wider perspective, not from narrow perspective. That is another explanation of water logic. When I continued my postgraduate degree in Lancaster University in the northern part of England, I spent the whole year reading books, thousands of books in library. I did not interact with local people. One of the beautiful books that I remember until today, it was 30 years ago. The title of the book is Philosophy and the Mirror of Nature. The author is the philosopher Richard Rorty. The conclusions of that book is very touching to me. The truth is like broken glasses. The truth is like broken glasses, and the broken parts are everywhere. Never think that you hold the truth in your own mind only. The truth is separated of everywhere. The job of the philosopher then is how to synthesize. It is like synthesizing the different views of the three blind men who met elephant. The question is not which one is true. The question is what kind of animal in certain part like snake, another part like the tree, in certain part is like the wall. That is exactly what I mean by water logic. There is also the practical explanations about a beautiful inner angel. First of all, your mind begins to flow. As a result, your heart begins to glow. That is the first chapter, the beautiful inner angel. The second chapter, which is more important in our cycle of time, is taking good care of our inner orphan. To a certain degree, we have certain parts of ourselves which we tend to neglect. Certain dark parts of ourselves we keep hiding from somewhere else, someone else. Some you who committed drugs in the past, you tend to hide it from someone else. You don't want to tell anyone, include your parent. That is the inner orphan. Some of you have wounded soul because of experiencing sexual harassment in teenagers. That is the another inner orphan. Some of you deeply wounded because your boy or your girlfriend simply ran away from you without any permission. Another part of the inner orphan. The part of yourself which keep you hide inside. You don't want someone else to know about it. That is the inner orphan. It is hard to imagine that you can be flexible in coping with this challenging time if you do not heal your inner orphan. So that's why the second chapter is taking good care of the inner orphan. There are 3 steps that I'm suggesting to you. Whenever the bad memory about inner orphan come to you, the first step, try to bring some balancing energy inside. Suppose that you are sad because you remember your ex-boyfriend left you behind on teenager's time. You deeply sad. Some of the lady even cry. At that moment, bring the balancing energy inside. It can be listening to the music. It can be reading beautiful book. It can be writing beautiful poetry. It can be playing with your children, balancing energy. The first medicine. The second deeper medicine is see those bad experience of the past, the inner orphan, as your own spiritual teacher. Especially because they give you countless lessons. Suppose that you have broken heart because of your boyfriend left you behind in teenager. Make a promise in your heart. Be loyal to your husband and teach your children one day when they have boy or a girlfriend. This is the way to take good care of your boy or girlfriend, to make your children not experiencing the same painful experience. The second medicine, put the inner orphan as your spiritual teacher. Focus on the lesson, forget about the punishment. The second medicine to the inner orphan. The third and the last medicines for the inner orphan is embrace. Embrace. That is the approach of meditation which is combined with psychology. That is also the approach of meditation that I am teaching to all of you. Combining meditation with psychology. Again, let me use this picture of yin yang. What I mean by the inner orphan is the dark part. The dark part. Sad experience, painful story in the past, neglected by the parent, dissatisfied to your friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, any kind of dark experience. We tend to hide it. We tend to bury it inside. You don't want anyone else to know about it. And the more you try to bury it inside, the harder your burden is. What I mean by the third medicine, embrace and synthesize. Both the dark part and the light part are you. In the language of Balinese elder, the human soul is called Dewa Ye Kala Ye, meaning inside human soul there is dark part and the light part, and both are you. Both are you. That is the third and the deepest medicine to taking good care of your inner orphan. So that's why in the guided meditation I keep persuading you, both the darkness and the light are you. Both the bad experience and the good experience are you, part of the same holistic you. That is the third medicine and also the deep medicine in order to take good care of the inner orphan. The third and the last chapter is using your second brain. Some of you who study the history of the brain, the left brain, the left is logical and systematic brain. That is the youngest brain. The age of logical and systematic brain is less than 1,500 years. The youngest brain. Sadly speaking, most of the lesson that we get in most university and school is about left brain. The idea of IQ, thanks God, IQ later on being balanced by EQ and SQ. IQ is about left brain. Please remember that is the youngest brain. The age of left logical systematic brain is less than 1,500 years. The older brain is your feeling, your emotion. In our modern world, emotion, feeling tend to be neglected. Some of you even call it as obstacle. No. That is the older brain. The age of emotional brain is longer than 2,000 years. Much older than left and logical brain. Your feeling, your emotion. Sometimes if you meet new stranger, something uncomfortable here. That is your feeling, that is your emotion. That is the emotional brain. Sometimes we meet a new people, we never meet them before, but as soon as we see their own eyes, there is the feeling of uncomfortable here. That is the feeling brain, emotional brain, which is older than the left and logical brain. The oldest brain, it is called instinctive brain. It is older than 2,500 years. That is what I am going to share to all of you. Instinctive brain. If you want to know deeper about the second brain, the language of the first brain is cleverness. The language of the second brain is kindness. The first brain like to bridge a wall that's separating you with the others. The second brain loves to build bridges that connecting you with the others. Cleverness, kindness, walls, bridges. You see the difference. This is logic, this is feeling. In psychology, sometimes it is called intuition. Let me share to you some of the sources of second brain inside. Since our time is very limited, I will share to you only the small parts of the second brain. First of all is body wisdom. There is a wisdom which is hidden here. To make the story more live, I will use one of my real and direct experience about listening to the wisdom of the body. Since I was in the moment when something dangerous is going to happen to me and my family, there is certain movement right here, a unique movement. I cannot explain it. Unique. It is very unique. There is a movement in the right shoulder right here. Sometimes, when I spend a few years in the forest, movement right here, and I look around. Oh, dangerous snake. Sometimes movement right here, something danger. It happened very often. I was curious. What is the meaning in the movement in the right shoulder? In the moment when danger is ready to come, threatening me, movement right here. In certain holy book, I forgot the holy book, there is a beautiful explanation like this. Whenever the guardian angel come to you, give you a warning that danger will come, there will be unique movement in the right shoulder. That is, I personally directly experience such movement right here. It cannot be explained. Later on, when I learn about the second brain, learning about deep intuition in psychology, I learn about the wisdom of the body. That is the example. Inside our body, there are rich wisdom which keep guiding all of us. But since we grow in the modern time, we're spending almost all energy in the first brain. We tend to neglect the voice of the wisdom that comes from the body. That is one of my personal example that I shared to you. There is certain movement in the right shoulder whenever the danger comes. It happened many times. When I was young, I didn't understand what kind of message was that. But later on, when I know about the lesson from the wisdom in the body, the message of guardian angel which telling me that a danger will come. The first source of the second brain is listening to the body wisdom. Lucid dreaming, another example. I have some of lucid dreaming, but I keep it as my secret. Synchronicity meaning coincidence which hiding a lot of meaningful message. Synchronicity, lucid dreaming, feeling, emotion, even anger can become your own inner wisdom as long as you do not respond directly. Simply listen to the voice of anger. Suppose that you are angry to your son, for example. It is the sign that something happened to your son. Do not react by speaking the harsh words. No. When you are angry to your son, your inner wisdom try to tell you something happened to this son. Try to monitor closely what happened and respond closely. That is what I mean by listening to the voice of the body wisdom. The second approach of listening to the second brain is being close to nature. If you are sensitive enough with body nature, I'm suggesting to you to learn from many shamanic people. Shaman is the oldest religion here on earth, older than any former religion, the shaman. People of the shaman, they understand the language of the tree, the language of animals, the language of the wind, the language of the clouds, the language of the sun. I learned a lot from the people of shaman, but I don't want to share it in the public space like this. It's something strange. But countless messages are hidden there in the Mother Nature. Learn to be close to nature. For the last few years, some of well-known university in the US especially developed a new field called astrobiology. Astrobiology, combination between astronomy and biology. It is a scientific explanations about being close to nature. I read a lot of articles from the people of astrobiology. Inside our body, there are countless atoms. Atom in the hand, atom in the head, atom in the leg. You know, the scientists from astrobiology make a beautiful conclusion. All the atoms that we have in our body come from the burning stars. It is not the conclusions of Holy Scripture. It is the conclusions of the scientists in the field of astrobiology. Let me repeat once again. All the atoms inside our body come from the burning star. We got it in the moment of in-breath. The atom in our head come from the burning star, maybe from the west. The atom in the hand come from the burning star in the eastern direction. Just an example. The atom in the leg come from the burning star in the north. We get it in the moment of in-breath. Meaning, the materials of human body is the same as the materials which make the shining star. The spiritual message, you are the light. No need to seek the light. You are the light. Now the scientists in astrobiology explicitly make a conclusion. All the atoms inside of you come from the burning star. Meaning the star keeps shining in the sky in the night especially. Meaning your body is full of light. It is enough to meet the light. It is time to emit the light. That is the final conclusions about using the second brain. In conclusion, before I close my presentation, remember, bad weather makes good timber. The challenging of this challenging time can strengthen your soul journey. Remember my message at the beginning? Hot sunshine can make the grass dry, but also can make the flower bloom. To make you part of the blooming flower, not part of the dry grass. Remember 3 chapters that I am sharing to you this evening. Meet the beautiful inner angel with his flowing mind and blooming heart. Second, don't forget to take good care of your inner orphan, the parts of yourself that you keep hiding inside, the part of yourself that you keep neglecting. Remember, through approaches that I'm suggesting to you this evening, bring balancing energy, like beautiful music, playing with children, writing poetry, gardening, balancing energy. The second, put your inner orphan as your spiritual teacher. They bring a lot of lesson. The last, embrace using the holistic approach of Chinese Yin Yang. The third chapter, remember, learn to listen to your second brain. The first brain, kindness. The first brain is cleverness. The second brain is kindness. The first brains love to bridge a wall separating you with the others. The second brain love to build a bridge that connecting you with the others. How to be well connected with the second brain? Listen to the wisdom of your body. Remember my direct and personal example about the movement in the right shoulder. I got the explanation from the Holy Scripture. That is a sign that guardian angel come to give you a warning that dangerous things is going to happen. movement in the right shoulder. Remember also to be close to the nature. Previously, the language of the star, the language of the clouds, trees and animal, only written in the book of the Saman. Nowadays, there are scientists in astrobiology who make a clear conclusion. All the atoms inside your body come from the burning star, meaning the material that make human body is the same material as the material that make the shining stars. In short, you are the light. You are the light. It is enough to meet the light. It is time to emit the light. Thank you, beautiful soul, beautiful friend, beautiful heart, light seeker, peace lover, students on the path of meditation. Hopefully, the light that flowing through me can dispel some part of your inner darkness. Thank you. Hopefully we can meet again another next 2 weeks. Hopefully, if we are blessed enough time. Thank you. Good evening. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in the lower, peace in the middle, peace in the upper realm. Sabisata Bhavantu Sugitata. May all beings are happy, free from suffering. Sarvesam Santir Bhavatu. May all soul blossom into peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.